Cuckoo.
Hi, it's Kim today. I am back with our series, French Women Unfiltered. So this is episode 3 of our mini-series. It's a series where we're interviewing French women, and they're giving our real honest perspective of how French women think about life. We're going to talk about everything from motherhood to raising children to work to relationships and just general perspective of life. So with that, I'm very happy to have Helen, a great friend of mine who I've had the privilege of getting to know over the last 2.5 years. Our sons have become best friends, and it's very, very sweet. Just two awesome boys. So we're very happy to have Helen here as a guest. She has a lot to share and has lived a few different places, and she will share her experiences. So with that, Helen, if you don't mind just giving a little intro of yourself, and thank you for coming on.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, of course.
Very pleased to be here.
Good.
Today. So my background is...
you were born in?
I'm born in Strasbourg, actually, northeast of France. Then I've been working 10 years in Paris. Then I've met my partner over there. And then we've moved to London for nearly kind of 8-9 years.
Wow.
Before me moving back to France 2 years ago in Aix-en-Provence.
Yes, and you have a son who's, is he 9 already or 8?
No, it's 8.
He's 8. Okay, and he was born in London, is that right?
He's born in London, yeah.
Okay.
He claims he's British at first, so yes, we don't forget
I
that.
actually love her son because he mostly speaks English. and he always says to me, I don't eat cheese because I am British.
Yes.
And I said, I love that. And then my son reminded me that your son actually is a dual citizen, and he has the UK citizenship, right? As well as the European Union with France.
Yes,
is that right?
absolutely. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
2 passports, yeah.
Yes, amazing. And what language do you guys speak at home? Your husband, by the way, is French, right?
Yeah, he's French.
Okay. Is he from the south?
He's from south of France, so we can make a difference between north and south of France.
What is the big difference?
A bit more Latin in south of France, a bit more chatty, a bit more using their arms when they speak.
Interesting. So less reserved.
Yes, at some point.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think these discrepancies between north and south, you can see it between the Italian people and I don't know, Swedish people and things like that, But within France, you can see the difference as well.
Oh, interesting. Yes. Okay. And so when you guys were thinking about moving back here, it was, should we go to the north? Should we go to the south? Or was it more about work opportunities? Or
so by the time we were both working in London, we still work in London at some point, but remotely. But by the time we thought, okay, maybe Lille is an option because it's very close to London. It's very close to Paris at some point. We can be beautiful. In between. But a couple of things, including the weather, the nature, because the nature around here is really wonderful.
It's beautiful,
and kind of a more long-term solution brought us here, actually, in the end.
That's wonderful.
And we didn't want really to come back to Paris, actually, with kids.
It's hard.
It makes a difference, and it's been done. It's good when you're 30s.
And,
for now, here is a very
good place to raise kids, for sure. Okay, so you're both French. What language do you speak at home?
So we speak French. By the time we were in England, Martin was not speaking French at all. He was in a full British school. So we used to speak English with him and French between us.
Wow. So when you guys lived in London, your son was at a full British English-speaking only school.
Yeah.
So did he know any French?
So yes, a little bit and there, but he was understanding everything in French we were saying.
That's so interesting.
But when it came to emotions and things like that, we used to switch in English immediately because we didn't want to kind of disrupt the feelings.
Okay.
We could speak English. Now we are in France. I think French, I taken the lead.
Okay, so interesting.
Yeah, except that's good for him.
Yes, for sure. When did you make the switch? So you and your husband spoke French together in the UK. And then your son was speaking mostly English or knew English better as a first language almost?
For sure. He was
that's
not speaking French.
So interesting. And then when did you decide as a family, it's now time that we're going to only speak French at home?
It was kind of natural. It was not a decision.
It was not a decision.
Many different parents would say when they have multinationalities, and in London it's really cosmopolitan.
Yes, for sure.
It's what do we do? It's really kind of the theory of which language do we speak and things like that. But then it comes to kind of the natural feeling, and it came up quite naturally when we came back in France. We didn't decide something.
You didn't decide, okay.
He started to catch up with French very easily in 1 month at school.
Okay.
And then it's been introduced more and more French at home, and then now it's
it's only French at home.
Most of the time, but my son requests to speak English most of the time. It's still fully British in his mind. So
does he speak back to you in English?
Yeah, sometimes.
And what do you say en français?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Okay, just depends on the conversation.
It's really important for him to keep his kind of background.
Yeah, that's so cool. What an amazing thing that your son is, and you and your husband are completely fluent in both languages, that you can switch so easily. It's kind of a dream of mine. My husband and I try to speak French at the dinner table.
You'll be soon. I see some huge progress from your side.
Thank you. I'm glad. Oh, thank you. Well, I'm trying. See, Helen and I, she's very tolerant of me speaking French to her, so I always appreciate that. Thank you. Because
you're tolerant with my English as well.
No, not at all. Okay, so let's switch a little bit. So talking about work, so you're a very high-achieving professional woman, I would say. So tell us a little about your career and what you do, and how that has evolved over time.
Yes, I've got a background in international marketing and business school. So I've started to work 10 years agency side in Paris. So quite 360 communication agency, branding agency, things like that, like Publicis. I don't know if you know. Yes. And then I've moved into in-house a company to work as a kind of communication director. It was in Paris by the time, and then I've moved to London to join my partner. So I became kind of a freelance couple of times while I was pregnant, marketing consultant during a while. And then when my son had a 1-year-old, I came back full-time on track.
Oh, okay. So you could take a little time to be more flexible when your son was
a little bit
younger.
The first year. So I joined Sally Beauty. You might know.
Yes.
US company originally. So the headquarters for Europe are based in London, and then so I was managing all the European websites before joining Bouclem, which is actually a curly hair care company, and I'm now global head of e-commerce and digital marketing over there.
Such a cool job and very cool brand. Do you want to talk a little bit about the brand?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very, very nice brand, born 10 years ago, founded by Michelle Scott-Lynch, who is female independent entrepreneur who has curly hair, and I think she basically built up the brand because she didn't find the right product on the market for curly hair by the time. We are just speaking about 10 years ago, but it was fully ignored by beauty standards and by cosmetic company by the time, and so she decided to try to create something for her first, and then it was a huge success with first product, second product, and now we have a range of 30 products, accessories dedicated to curls. So it's really a nice story. We are expanding internationally. We are in the US, in Europe, in Australia, and we are the kind of a pioneer in the UK. So it's a very nice brand.
I always like to talk to you about your work because you're very passionate about it, and you seem to really enjoy it, and I think that's such an amazing thing. And this company sounds like a really good company with a great founder, so I think that's exciting.
Very ethical and natural product, and really very committed. Indeed.
Yes, and Helen is really nice. She's going to offer our listeners a little gift today. So there is a promo code for 20% off. Is that right? And that's very rare, right? You never give that type of deep discount.
Not that often, yeah.
Okay, so it's super nice of her today to share with our listeners. So I'm going to put the name of the company, the website, and that in our show notes today, the promo code. So feel free to try the product. I think it sounds like, I don't have curly hair, but I would love to have tried it. Very, very cool brand.
Maybe you don't know, but you have wavy hair.
Oh, well, it seems pretty straight to me, but I would love to try at some point. So that's awesome. So obviously you're very ambitious. You've worked really hard throughout your career. Is that something French women respect, as a woman, to kind of rise up and do well in your career, or is it still kind of, I've heard from other French friends that it's still a little bit of like the boys club, as you, depending on the industry, I'm sure. But what was your experience like in France?
Yeah, so it's a hard question at some point because, of course, if you go to Paris, the mindset is a bit different because all the kind of key jobs are in Paris. So when you are there, you are maybe more ambitious and things like that, for sure. And then it depends, as you say, in the industry. But I would say that indeed we are still deeply rooted by the previous generation.
Interesting.
Man leading, have the leadership in terms of job most of the time. It's not always true, but I think that most of the time it's the case.
Interesting.
Of course, it evolves, kind of to have a kind of equality between men and women at work, but we are not still there. And I know that in terms of salary, things like that, in terms of politics, there are lots of discussions how to make women grow a bit further, not this kind of glass roof.
Glass ceiling, I know. It's still like that, I think, in the United States and industries as well. And I think the beauty industry, having worked in beauty as well, is better in a lot of ways. I think a lot more women are in beauty, and it seems like it's much more, respectable, and there isn't sort of a glass ceiling as much. At least I found, and it sounds like you've had the same experience. So that's awesome.
Agree.
Good. Okay. Because you work in the beauty industry, how important do you think appearance is as a French woman?
So, in the industry, there are lots of codes.
Oh,
if you work.
Okay.
I mean, I used to work for L'Oreal for a while, and kind of luxury brands, thing like that. And when you go there, that there are some standards, you have some codes, so there are lots of rules at some point.
Yes.
But more generally speaking, I would say that French women, as we know, are more casual in the way they dress every day. The kind of example I always share, because it's really meaningful when you see advertising in one country or another, thing like that. But that usually we have the black dress we can wear from 7 a.m. until midnight,
right? And
you go to work, and then you go to party, and then you go all throughout the day. Whereas, for instance, British women, I think American women the same, that there is the dress for work, there is a dress for working from home, I've noticed as well. There are a lot of codes.
A certain type
but as soon as you've got a Zoom call right now, everyone is in hoodie and stuff like that. So it really depends on the place they are. And then when they go out, even for a drink, they dress up specifically. And so on one side, I say, okay, the French model is good because it's more relaxed and you don't have to put a lot of pressure on what I'm going to wear. You have this black dress, you have got the red lipstick, and you are ready. Actually, to always have a red lipstick in your bag. That's the most important.
She actually ran downstairs before the podcast started.
No, downstairs, just next to me.
Oh, it's next to you. Okay. Oh, it's on the table right by us, actually.
It was a last-minute makeup. Sorry.
Well, I put it on quickly too because I was very well trained at Sephora to never not wear lipstick to a meeting. So I know the feeling.
But it's more relaxed. But in the end, I've noticed when I used to dress up, even in weekdays, things like that, in the British way, it psychologically prepare you to party. It means that it refresh you. It helps to transition from, for instance, work to the party. So I think that both models are really valuable.
For sure. It's interesting you say the French women are more casual, because I think the perception, at least as an American, is that the French are actually more like chic and like they look a little more effortless, but they're pulled together. Whereas, again, perceptions, but the United States, you might go out in your yoga pants and a hoodie and be fine. But I think at least, and you tell me if you agree with this, but I perceive that the French woman, it is a bit more of like putting yourself together before you go out, and that could be to work, to after drinks, to all night. But I'm interested to hear how you describe casual versus like an American or a UK person might describe casual.
That's very, very good point, and very ambiguous in the same time, because working in the beauty industry for a while now, this is a big difference.
Yeah,
indeed.
for sure.
Is this kind of how to get this flawless look, and natural look. It starts with your hair. You see that French woman, it sounds like unstructured, kind of a bit wavy, but maybe some American will feel like, oh no, she's not prepared at all. Oh my God, she's just out of the bed. Whereas we feel, okay, it's just wavy. We don't like when it's too polished, when it's too defined. When it comes to curls, we like defined curl, but we like volume. We like, when it sounds too, how do you say, to nail, to polish.
It's almost like
it sounds fake.
Yeah,
it sounds
fake.
fake. It sounds fake to us.
Polished.
So we always want to have this kind of casual looking. It doesn't mean that we don't make up. We prepare this look.
Yeah.
But we don't spend 1 hour in the bathroom. We have good tips. We have kind of flawless basics like mascaras, lipsticks. Having a flawless skin is the kind of start.
Okay.
And from then we are kind of ready to go out. And then when it comes to dress, it's a bit like that. As soon as, I don't know, you can have a nice T-shirt, but if it's a nice fabric, for instance, with it's chic for us. Like, it doesn't necessarily need, I go out, I need a dress. It can be trousers. It can be... It's the way you wear it.
Okay, so it's about the confidence and how the whole look kind of comes together, but not overdone. Right. Okay.
Not overdone, absolutely.
Yes. Okay, yes. It's interesting. I've noticed this here with hairstylists, and actually the previous one I interviewed had been, she does my hair, and she keeps encouraging me to not be so blonde, because she's like, it's just not natural. And I was like, I know that, but like my standard is like, I want to be blonde. And she's like, it actually looks better if it's just more integrated and you kind of just casually
blend.
You might, you might just have gotten blonde from the sun. And I'm like, well, it doesn't really work like that. But so it's just such an interesting cultural perception that as a French woman, she's like, I don't understand why you're wanting this, because it doesn't look as good as this. And so it's I think that, and it's not bad or good, but I just find it so interesting. And now I'm like kind of embracing, like I see even just the American look, sometimes I'm like, whoa, that's like a lot of makeup, and like your hair does not look natural, so I'm liking the French natural sort of.
And
look.
in the meantime, the kind of dream is to look like a wavy Californian as well. It's a kind of a very nice model. So I think maybe an in-between solution.
Is probably a win. Okay, that definitely makes sense. Talk to me a little bit about, because you also work in beauty, like aging and the amount of like people are willing to do Botox or not, or fillers, or like, is that something pretty common, would you say, in your perspective, in France among French women? Or like what we've heard is, yes, but it's secret, like, and it's very subtle, or is it like just age naturally and carry yourself with confidence, and that's great?
Yeah, very good question. Again, so I guess it depends on where you come from, what's your background, what are your models.
Yes, okay.
But a very Parisian way of doing is not to get too much.
Yes.
Or if you do so, it has to be not necessarily secret, but discreet.
Discreet, okay.
It has to sound natural in the face, and that's true. That's the, I don't know if you call that like that, the duck face.
Yes, duck face.
That's true that for us, it's a bit maybe less common.
Yeah.
I would say that in the US, because when we see the standard in the US, it seems that it's become the standard.
I know, it's crazy.
To have the duck face, or maybe in the cinema
you
industry,
see it a lot
thing like that. So I would say that some of the French influencers go into that, but I would say most of the Parisian really want to maintain this natural aging and
natural
to embrace
aging.
their age more and more.
Interesting. I love that. Okay, very cool. Okay, I'm going to jump topics a bit. Let's talk about food, such a big central core part of France and being a French woman. What is your relationship with food, and how has that evolved? So like from childhood, were meals very important? Like, did someone in your family always cook? And how has that evolved as you became a mother and working mother, how do you think about food in context to your life?
Yeah, so it's a big topic here indeed. But there is a bit of a cliche at some point, because what I notice is that many people like food, but then it's just the way you take time for it, which is a bit different, and the way, once again, it's naturally in your roots at some point or not, so it can affect the way you cook or not cook. But I would say it's really an art of living.
Interesting.
Eating is part of the art of living. We will enjoy every single meal. We will enjoy everything we cook, and it doesn't have to be a speed thing.
Yeah.
The lunchtime in France is very famous to be very long.
To be long.
When it comes to 1 hour and 1 hour and a half. Yes. Whereas at work, for instance, in England, it will be 10 minutes, a triangle sandwich over the screen.
Right.
In France, you have to make a little break, not in front of the screen, except sometimes you have rush and things like that.
Course.
But you want to be in a separate room. You want to breathe.
Yep.
It's kind of something really positive
really
to bring in every day, 3 times a day. We take time and
away from your screen, away from being in a meeting, eating.
Yeah, and that's sharing as well. I think that food is something to share. It's a moment where you share with your friends, with your family. Yeah. So it's really, really important to take this time for us. That's true.
I love that. And do you how do you guys think about who cooks at your house? And do you make Northern French food, or you British food, or Southern food, or what is that influence like?
Yeah, so how we cook. I mean, sometimes it can be my partner. He loves cooking.
Yeah. He's really a great cook.
He's a great cooker.
He's cooked for us a few times, and every time my son comes home from their house and he's like, I want to eat that every night. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't cook like that. So my apologies. You're going to have it when they invite us over.
So I've got a lot of pressure when I cook at home. So I love cooking, but now that I have this pressure.
Now that your husband's very good.
I can hand over at some point just to feel a bit less pressure.
Oh, no.
But no, other than that, I love to cook. I think that, that's a great way of sharing, of preparing, of enjoying. Then in terms of influence, we've got a lot of influence. Because we like to test every kind of food. It can be nice restaurants, it can be street food restaurants. Cool. And then we've lived in the UK, obviously Indian food is really part of something we need. Yeah. But we found one in Aix.
Oh, all right, you'll have to tell me. Okay, because we're on the hunt. We
have found a good one here. Good. It's quite a struggle. But then, yes, we love Italian food really much. Yeah. We love, we've got all Asian as well.
Oh, yes.
My partner has kind of roots in Vietnam, so he cooks quite well Asian food. So it's a mix. And my son obviously really wants Indian food.
Oh, he really wants Indian food.
Fish and chips.
Of course. I bet he misses that.
He misses that. So a nice pub is really nice. And then when it comes to restaurants, I think that everyone say, oh my God, French gastronomy, thing like that. Yeah. I always say that London place in terms of restaurants have moved much faster than us. So we were kind of resting on our golden age. Yeah. Thinking that we are good at food, things like that, and in the end, a nice pub in England is better than an average brasserie in France right now. So they have to catch up a little bit.
That's so interesting to hear you say that, as a French woman, because I think a lot of French people still perceive France is the top for food and everything. But it's interesting because London hasn't had a great reputation of food, but every time I've been there, I find it phenomenal. I think the restaurants in London are absolutely, even just a normal, to your point, a pub standard in the UK, I think is higher than a brasserie, which would be the equivalent, right? In some places.
Yeah, at some point.
In France.
And I've got a theory behind that. I think that's indeed English food was a really bad reputation 25 years ago, kind of a flashing green peas in the pub, thing like that. And then they had nothing to lose.
Right,
and they have built up in behind the scene more and more innovation, tried something new. All the biggest chefs around the world came to London to try new things because they were not judged, they were not in the Michelin star run, and that make a difference today.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you miss some of that type of international cuisine, having lived in Paris, London, and now here, or do you
I
think
find
you
my
found
place
your
here.
place? Okay. You make it work. Okay. All right. Good to know. That's awesome. What about French women and like dieting? Like, do French women diet? Because I've heard, no, we just walk a lot and, we don't diet.
Yeah, I think it's partly true. Not for everyone, but we make sports, but we are less intense than in the US, I would say, and maybe California and some areas are really strict about that. We are much more relaxed because of food is part of our life. We don't want to restrict too much. Yeah. We are careful. We try to have a balanced meal and not to be in excess in what we eat. But I mean, that's true that a meal with a starter, a main or dessert is part of the life. It's not kind of I need to eat a lettuce every day or avocado on toast every single meal, thing like that. No. It's far less strict.
You know what I've noticed, like as an American, you wouldn't typically at an American restaurant order an entree, like that would be the appetizer, a plat, like their main course, and then a dessert, like. Because that would be so much food in the U.S. Whereas and it would be like it's a lot faster meal. Like it's like the meal is done in an hour. But here, because the meals take longer and the portions are much smaller, it's like such a healthy way of eating because it allows your like stomach to catch up with your brain of not get so full. Like, and if you're done, you're finished. But typically, you could have all three of those and not walk out of a restaurant feeling like, oh my gosh, like that was way too much food. Like, and I think that's such a healthy way of eating. In fact, I've learned there's no expression. I think you and I were even talking about this. There's no expression in French that is, I'm full. Like you wouldn't say, I'm so full. Like you would say,
I'm not hungry.
Yes, I'm no longer hungry, right? Which I think is very just a nuance, but it's a very interesting way of thinking about it because at a restaurant in the United States, you would say like, oh no, like, are you finished? If a waiter comes around, oh yes, I'm really full is like a normal way to respond to that. But if you said that in France, they might think that's a bit bizarre, right?
You can translate literally. No. I'm full for sure. But yes, indeed, we don't overeat. We don't undereat too much into diets. It's kind of in between.
Yeah, I think that's
kind of a compromise,
right?
Which is part of the culture.
Yeah.
We don't think about that.
Yeah. And what about like smoking's kind of naturally part of being like French, and as a French woman, family, etc. Like that's people have told me like it's just part of the culture. It's like similar to a lot of other things in the United States that you sort of take for granted as integrated into your day or after a meal, etc. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it can be part of a routine. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily good. Yeah. But it's kind of the pleasure. Yeah. It's still kind of some people like a piece of chocolate. Some people like having a cigarette. Yeah. Some people like to have a coffee. You see, it's kind of part of something which can relax me or so it's kind of integrated
into the culture more or less.
At some point, indeed, people are more relaxed when it comes to smoke into the street, whereas indeed in the UK you don't see anyone.
Yeah, I was going to ask you in the UK.
In the US, I think
the
it's
US
the same.
So
it's a bit different. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. No, we have just heard different things about it, and it's funny because people who smoke in the US are like, oh my gosh, it's so bad that I smoke, and here they come here and they're like, thank God I can just smoke freely and not be judged, so just cultural, I think, differences there for sure. Okay, I'm going to switch topics a bit. How do you think about, this is about you and your husband, raising your son? Like, do you adopt some of the like Anglo-Saxon UK parenting, like that's now come into your life since you lived there for a long time, or since you're both French, are you like, we're pretty much aligned on a French style of parenting? Or talk to me a little bit how you would describe your style of parenting.
Yes, well, I think that the fact we are both French makes things a bit easier.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's true that if you have an English on one side and a French on the other side, maybe there is a compromise to find, because when it comes to raise children, for instance, I would say that French are a bit more relaxed. Once again, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's better. But in terms of bedtime, routines, a bit more flexible, relaxed at some point. Whereas we took the best. We tried to
take the best of both
of the UK
Smart.
because the routine are much stricter. You put kids at bed much earlier. So we try to bring back this routine, but with introducing a bit of more flexibility. When we came back to France, one of our best friends and kids were coming from Spain. So
they're up till in the middle of the night.
Actually. And then we found a way in the middle at some point. I think probably that's the best way.
That's awesome. And what about, how do you think about independence? Like how much independence you give your son and what is your perception of what that's like in the UK versus in France?
So once again, there are a bit less routine, ready-made routine, and I've noticed that most of the time in the UK, kids are the center of everything. So, for instance, the weekend, everything is about what the kids will do, what the club they are. Whereas here, people build up as a family, or sometimes even for the adults, do things for themselves. So they do that as a family, this kind of compromise, whereas maybe American or English will take a babysitter straight away to say, okay, is that something for the adult, the museum they will not like, and or we do something the restaurant they will not enjoy. So we take a babysitter, and so that a bit of a difference in
it's interesting
in this kind of compromise and doing things together or not, which maybe is a bit of difference I feel, but maybe it's not true.
No, I think that's true. I mean, I think to your point, like the Brits and the Americans, I think are much more kid-centric. Like it's much more, your weekend might revolve around your kids' activities or making sure they had a play date or they go to the playground or that they're happy, right? Or that you think you're making them happy by doing what they will enjoy. Whereas I've noticed here, it's much more around whether the family and definitely the adults want enjoyment out of it. Like an adult, tell me if I'm incorrect, but the playgrounds here, for example, in France are, sorry for the yes, like terrible, actually. Like it's pathetic. Like I remember looking at these and I'm like, there's nothing even here for a child. Like no child would really want to play at this. And my kids, and they're a little getting older than the playground age, but they went to the United States for the first time, and they were like, like after we moved here, they were like, look at these playgrounds. Like it's all they wanted to do because they're just, bigger and they've got a million things and everything's really kid-centric. But I didn't understand it, and now I think I understand it more. It's because playgrounds in the U.S., and I can't speak for the UK, but are a central gathering point on a weekend. Like it's like, let's meet at the playground. The parents will hang out and have a coffee and the kids will play and run around. And here, like I never see, and we live near 2 or 3 playgrounds, adults on a weekend gathering at the playground with their children as a like central activity on a Saturday.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that true?
Okay. It makes a bit different. In London, our Saturdays or Sunday were made of playground all the time.
Right. Interesting. Same.
It was this every single Saturday or Sunday. It is central, as you say. Whereas here, it's you will go there to have fresh air in the day, but you will find another activity, which is maybe more a family activity where everyone enjoy. Let's go for a walk in a mountain. Let's go for nature or something in the sea, if there is a sea nearby or something like that. But or restaurants, which is also
restaurants are much more
to enjoy food, but the kids can enjoy food as well.
I think that's super interesting, and I actually like that. Our weekends are much more balanced, I would say now. They're not just like all about the kids. It's much more like my husband and I want some enjoyment of what we're doing on the weekend as well. So I think it's somewhat of a good thing. Although I do have to say they could make the playgrounds a little better.
That's true. In the big cities, it's really rubbish.
Yes, it's not that much better here. So, okay, I'm going to jump to one more topic and then we can wrap up. Social media. So I'm just curious because this is obviously such an integral part of most people's lives in the U.S. and worldwide now. But how how do you perceive like social media as a French woman? Like, do French women spend a lot of time on it? Are there influencers that are French that it's like considered a pretty, good career here that people talk about and are actively part of? Or how do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that everywhere it has grown significantly.
For sure.
But in the meantime, we are conscious that being too connected is maybe something which is not that good. So maybe there is a bit of a mix right now. But definitely, I would say even more for teenagers.
Yeah, of course.
It's really fully integrated in their life. Maybe for a later, an older generation like me, I mean, a bit less. But anyway, this is new influence which are part of our life for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot to ask you at the beginning, what part of being French do you feel most in your daily life?
Oh, so yes. I think that's this kind of food thing.
Okay.
Which make a difference in a daily life.
Okay.
I
what
would say
part of it, like the cooking or mealtime, like sharing and
mealtime, sharing, taking the time, enjoying. Really, we are searching for having pleasure. It's not to feed a body. It's really to find a pleasure at every meal at some point.
Wow, that's
makes
such
us
a cool
happy
perspective.
at some point. And that's make a difference, I think, because then work time is quite heavy in terms of the
actual
part of the
work.
day on weekdays, in the weekend. Then yes, I think that the food is the biggest discrepancy.
Just like restate that, it would be food is not just about nourishment to function for your body to have energy. It's about pleasure and about the enjoyment of the experience and what you're eating and who you're sharing it with. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. It's not super American.
It doesn't have to be, it can be raw ingredients. It doesn't have to be, how to say, too much sophisticated.
Yes, okay.
It can be really easy, but you want to have something nice to eat and enjoy that moment.
I love that. Very, very cool. Okay, last question. What do you think women from other cultures could learn from the French in a positive way? Or negative way, if you want.
I mean, everyone can learn. I think we try to get the best of all the people we meet, American, English people, and everyone has his own
different things to bring.
Different things to bring. But for sure, this kind of take it easy a little bit, a bit more casual, because it just puts a bit less pressure as well.
I love that.
As a parent, to have everything perfect all the time. I think that's I feel a lot of pressure from English, or maybe American, maybe in between French and English, but to have this pressure of being perfect all the time, and we embrace the fact that we are not perfect, and so it removes a bit of a pressure.
Yeah. Do you feel that pressure like more? Would you say as like a mother to be perfect, or at work to be perfect, or how would you define like? Both. A bit of
everything, I think. Wonder Woman is really hard to achieve anyway, but to start at the mother, I think.
Interesting. There's a lot of pressure, like to mother in a certain way, or to.
And we have some, but we have some pressure. It's hard to manage everything. Work, having a nice work, you enjoy, to have kids, to feel you are a good mother, and it's a lot of pressure.
For sure.
But then we don't need to do things perfectly, and maybe we feel a bit less guilty at some point.
That. I think it's interesting. I heard that a lot from French parents and in entertaining, like that you could have people over and it doesn't have to be this like over the top production of I've made everything perfect and I've got this perfect meal. It's like
the cake, for instance. The birthday cake.
I did not share this story, but now that Helen brought this up, she came over last weekend. I had a birthday party for my son, and afterwards I had an apéro for the parents to come over and enjoy some champagne and cheese. And my son was like, there's no birthday cakes in France that have sprinkles and they're not fun. And it's true. Actually, they don't, again, to the catering, like a kid-centric cake, it just doesn't really exist. There's a few tiny people that might do it independently, but you can't like go to the grocery store and buy a kid cake. So, or a boulangerie even. So anyways, patisserie, puddle. So I was like, okay, I'm going to bake a cake for the first time. And I don't know what I was thinking, but I haven't baked a cake in my life. I tried a like American recipe with the double layers and the whole thing. I was up till midnight one night, like just trying to do this. Unnecessary. I have learned my lesson. First of all, it looked terrible. Like I was embarrassed because I was having mostly French families over. And I called one of my best friends who's American, Isabel, who is the co-host. I took a picture. I said, look at this cake. I said, I can't serve this. I'm going to go out and just buy another cake. And she said, absolutely not. She's like, be French. They don't care. Like they'll laugh. You'll all have a good laugh about it. And it probably tastes amazing. So I was very reluctant. I wouldn't even bring the cake, if you didn't notice, into the room that all the adults were in. I purposely just served it to the children in the like other room. And then I wanted it to be quickly over. And it was so cute because after the kids like ate it and tried it, my son goes, that was the best cake I've ever eaten. And it was so cute, but it looked so bad. So I think my lesson is like, you don't have to, like I was trying to please him and like achieve something that was a bit unattainable. Like if you've never baked a cake, don't bake one for an event. Like, not that that's the takeaway, but I've learned next time I should bake one ahead of time. If it looks great, great. But I was actually a bit proud of myself for still serving the cake. Because my old self, like in the US, would have probably thrown out that entire cake, bought something else just for the appearance.
A French side is rising into
yes,
you.
That's rising.
And I think it did, the cake looks as bad as the playground, actually. Yeah, that's true. But
Thank you, hon. Yes, it did look as bad as the playground.
But the inside is good. The inside is good.
The inside was good. And, you know, it made my son happy. And I was proud of myself for at least still serving it. So, okay, I love that. So thank you. Anything else you want to share today or...
No, thank you so much.
Okay, so nice to have you. Thank you, Helen. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Like I said, I will put the website and the promo code so you can get excited about trying some new beauty products. So awesome. Okay, thanks, everyone, for listening. Don't forget to follow us at cuckoo.pod on Instagram. Thank you. Bye-bye.